Alright, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. And I just have to get this video out before chapter 29 drops, and surprisingly enough, we're going to be getting leaks around the 11th. I'm recording this video on the 5th, so less than a week from now we're gonna see Boruto vs Mamushi, one of the best fights in Two Blue Vortex. But as we all know, there's something we have to talk about. And I'm pretty sure everyone has an idea of what I'm talking about. The Shinju have found a way to negate Damon's Shinjutsu, and for the final time, I'm gonna tell you guys why that is. So before we get into the video, make sure you guys leave that like and tap that hype button. You guys know I'm experimenting with that, and I heard it has some really good benefits for the channel, so you already know, help a brother out. But anyway, we look at the page where Kashin Koji showed Eida getting devoured by the Shinju. Of course, this directly tells us that Mamushi successfully achieved his goal, or more accurately, in another future. And since Koji felt the need to mention it to us, there's probably a decent chance of this happening. So let's talk about this real quick. Everyone knows of Damon as Eida's knight and soul protector. That's why when it was revealed that Mamushi was after Eida, it pretty much confirmed that he was going to be fighting Damon, and everyone knew this without second thought. The only problem was if the Shinju could bypass Damon's Shinjutsu, the only power besides Omnipotence that seemed to have no blatant weakness. It made sense though. If anyone was going to bypass that power, it would be the Shinju. I know I said this a lot recently, but if you're gonna beat Damon's reflective Shinjutsu, it isn't gonna be because of physicality. Since the power activates off how a regular human's brain is wired, the only way to beat it would be cognitively, and the power has proven this to us more times than not. Remember when Kawaki just thought about injuring Damon, and that attack still got reflected onto Kawaki? This tells us that the ability can activate even if he's not touching you, which means a lot of characters in the series don't really understand how this ability really works, or its true capabilities. The ability of reflection is like a divine mirror that activates off the brain. That's why it seems so overpowered, because it challenges a mere human to evolve to a point where very few of us have been proven to be able to do. Can you attack someone or something without thinking about it? Can you fight without malicious intent? Probably not, because since birth, we were wired to associate certain actions with different emotions. You smile when you're happy, frown when you're angry, cry when you're sad. This is all thanks to your brain, even when you're fighting to protect something, and not so much because you're angry. Your brain is what's putting you in that fight or flight mode for you to be able to even realize you need to protect yourself. It's very rare we see an instance where someone can physically fight without the number one driving force causing it: instinct. There are rare cases of people that are able to do this though, but as you might have guessed, it takes inhumane levels of concentration and training to be able to accomplish. But the act itself to be able to do this is associated with divine technique, and only a handful of characters have been able to do something similar to this. And of course, I'm not saying each one I'm about to list is a divine technique, of course not. The closest one is of course Goku. Ultra Instinct literally severs the link between the body and consciousness, allowing the user to subconsciously fight and dodge incoming attacks. Keyword here, subconsciously, meaning in a way that is influenced by the part of the mind of which is not fully aware. So I guess another similar example of this would be Killua's Godspeed technique, which is a net ability that utilizes electrical aura to drastically enhance his speed and reflexes, which also separates the process of reaction and movement. Now this one isn't a direct way to counter reflection, it's just an example of characters that are able to somehow, some way, disconnect their movement from cognitive processing. Because to negate reflection, I'm afraid it's not that simple. Even Rock Lee was able to accomplish this by just getting drunk. The way that alcohol affected his brain, it made him unpredictable and forced him to fight purely off instinct and zero thought behind his actions. However, I think the only surefire technique that I'm 100% confident would beat reflection is Ultra Instinct, because remember, there's two sides to a battle: offense and defense. Techniques like Drunken Fist would have offense, but it's lackluster when it comes to defense. And of course, it's vice versa for Godspeed. The ability is best utilized for defense. He even had a whirlwind ability where he lets electricity control his nerves, making his body able to automatically dodge, block, and react faster than he can even think. But as impressive as these techniques are, you have to be able to take Damon down and still avoid his attacks. Someone like Lee gets absolutely destroyed. Techniques like Drunken Fist don't even matter. Reflection would still activate because he could just touch him. Simple as that. I mean, Damon wouldn't even need to use it in the first place. He would just physically make him submit. Killua's in the same boat too. Even if Godspeed has the same properties as Ultra Instinct, he still can't physically harm Damon enough to put him down. It's actually not close at all. And the second he does try to hit him, it just gets reflected, because Godspeed is more of a defensive technique more than offensive. And even with all that speed, it would still take cognitive effort when trying to harm Damon. But enough with that. I'm pretty sure you all get the point, or are starting to get it. Reflection is difficult to deal with, and most characters in the Boruto verse don't have the capability to negate it. But the Shinju offer a more interesting case than anyone else. They're divine trees. They have awakened ego. They're actually the farthest thing from human, but they can walk, talk, and have their own individual consciousness. But that's not why I feel they have the best chance against Damon than anyone else. It's because of instinct. The Shinju's instinctive actions are set up way differently than a mere human. As it pertains to their targets, they didn't choose who to go after. It's an instinctual desire. Their instinct told them who it was they needed to go after. They just listened to it. So because their instinct told them who to devour, when confronted with their target, it became an instinct and less about cognitive function. And it's more apparent the less evolved or developed a Shinju is. I always like to use Hidari's first encounter with Sarada as an example. When Hidari first seen his target, it was pretty instant where he started to attack her. No talking or nothing. As soon as he recognized her, that was it. Actually, it had more to do with Hidari's evolution, or lack thereof, which made him jump at Sarada at first glance. You see, the further every Shinju evolves, the more they start to understand human characteristics and emotions like reasoning, and in some cases, even love. These two things can keep the Shinju from instantly trying to devour their target, and the more evolved they are, the more susceptible they become to developing these characteristics. Which is why when Matsuri first seen Konohamaru, the reaction was much different than when Hidari seen Sarada. In fact, she didn't attack him at all, or more like she couldn't attack him, because of her not understanding her emotions. So sometimes, evolution can be a hindrance, because the more you evolve, the more intelligent you become. And I say that because in the case of Mamushi, who's currently after Eida, it's probably better for him to have the same intelligence level as someone like Hidari, who doesn't have the mental capacity to fight against their instinct to devour their target. It's to the point where he can successfully sever the link between body and consciousness, and that'll result in him moving instinctively. So if he was to attack Eida, it would be purely off instinct, and this could be the way he bypasses Damon's Shinjutsu, unless Damon can make contact with him. But there's a problem. It just so happens that Mamushi is like the perfect counter to Damon's power. Because even if he's evolved to the point where he's more intelligent than Hidari and can fight against his instinct better, Mamushi can use his division ability to purposely decrease his intelligence level so he can attack Eida using pure instinct. I believe this is how Damon was defeated in the future where Eida was devoured. It's very likely he was overwhelmed by the sheer number of Mamushi clones, and each clone has the capability of attacking Eida and defeating her easily because of division, and also the fact that Eida is just not much of a fighter. So it won't take much if she was attacked. If Mamushi is able to bypass reflection, then Damon can't stop every clone from getting to Eida, especially if every single clone has the strength and power as the original. So you know what this tells me? Without reflection to back him up, Mamushi might be physically stronger than Damon. Otherwise, he would be able to defeat these clones, even if they're able to touch him. I have a lot of subscribers that are Damon fans. One specifically I want to mention. Shout out to you Stickies if you're watching. I told you on stream that in these upcoming chapters, Damon is on fraud watch, and I meant that. He's been puffing out his chest this whole time. Don't let me find out he's a Shinjutsu merchant. I can tell you right now, either two things happened in the future. Mamushi defeated Damon by negating the reflection and overwhelmed him with sheer numbers, or Damon might still be alive because Mamushi wasn't focused on Damon and was blitzing Eida. Damon simply couldn't stop all of them, leading to her being devoured. Either way, Damon had to lose this fight. If Kashin Koji knew that there was no way Mamushi could defeat Damon, he would use Eida to lure him in so Damon could dispose of him. The fact that he's going the extra mile to keep him away from her just tells me all I need to know. Damon is simply not enough. It'll take the collective effort of everyone to save Eida and keep that future from happening. Because to even get to Eida, he would have to bypass Omnipotence. And the fact that he clearly did tells me that he's not normal. Now, Omnipotence is similar to Reflection. They both function as cognitive abilities. People can't hurt Eida because their brain simply won't allow it. And the more they try and fight it, the more strain they put on their brain. It could actually kill them if they're not careful. But if Mamushi can get past that using division to lower his intelligence level so it doesn't work, I wouldn't be surprised. He was already able to see through the power of the Senragon, so that right there is a dead giveaway for something that is to come later in the series. It's clear foreshadowing. It could also be the Shinju's relationship with the Otsutsuki as to why he can touch Eida. And you know, the only people who can kill Eida is blood relatives or Otsutsuki. And that right there might have to do more with Code's influence on them, and the fact that his blood was used when creating the claw grimes. So there could be some Otsutsuki DNA that is interfering with them. So I hope all that really cleared up a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to Damon's power, and how a fight between him and Mamushi would go. While I don't believe Damon would just get ragdolled right off the rip, he can definitely be overwhelmed with numbers as time goes on and he starts to get more fatigued. I don't think it will come to this future, but it will be close. I suspect Mamushi to come face to face with Eida, but her getting devoured is probably not going to happen due to their preparation and level of firepower that Konoha has. Mamushi will have to get past Boruto, Kawaki, Damon, and Sarada. That's a tall task in itself. So I would be genuinely surprised if Mamushi was able to pull that off. Let me know what you think though. Do you think Eida will be devoured? Do you think Damon or someone else can stop it? What exactly do you think would happen? Put all your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And remember, if you enjoyed this video and don't mind seeing more like this in the near future, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any more videos like this or when I go live for chapter spoilers. And until next time, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.